Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of In Other Words with Danielle and Zara.
So this is a podcast where we talk about a wide variety of different subjects, from green flags to yellow flags. So I'm just kidding, but we are talking about red flags today.
Yes, because on this podcast we talk about all the flags.
All the things and all the flags. That was a terrible intro, but we move.
Yes, I moved
All
to
right.
Hilton and Danielle lost her mind.
Exactly. I really did though. Anyway, so before we get into the episode, there is a local brand that I want to promote today, and it is a
Is it
brand
local though?
called...
Do I live in the same country as you even?
No, you don't. You live in the place that must not be named. Anyway, so this is a brand called Be Bare Life, or just Be Bare, and they basically
Be
make
Bare, as in B-A-R-E.
Bebare, and they're called
Okay,
that
I
because
thought you
they make
said Be Bay. I was like, I immediately know.
immediately know. I would, yeah.
Okay.
So on
Be Bare.
Instagram, they are BeBareLife. But they have a website and they're available at different shops as well. And the reason that they're called that is because they make shampoo and conditioner bars instead of like in the bottle.
Yes.
So
You told me about this.
I've recently started using them, and like I was kind of skeptical because I actually hate soap bars, but it's so nice. Like it works so well, and my hair feels really, really nice. So
I wish I could
definitely
feel
recommend.
it, Danielle.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure you would touch me so much. If you were here.
Okay, that's what she said. Alrighty, let's get into this episode. I'm actually like weirdly excited, which
Same.
is a red flag if you think about it. It's a bit dodge.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about red flags in like romantic relationships, friendships, like public figures like politicians and celebrities, jobs and churches. So if you find yourself in any of these situations, run.
Get out.
Yes.
But a lot of these are just our opinions. Like they're not
Yes.
necessarily universal. So if you don't agree, then good for you. But I would suggest that you do agree.
Yes,
So cool.
because we are right.
And we're always very wise.
It's so wise. Okay, Danielle, I don't know who this person would be, but for the people who don't know what a red flag is, how would you describe a red flag?
Just basically like warning signs in a relationship. That's how I would
Yes.
describe it. So the minute you see
Communism.
someone doing...
Red flag.
Not quite.
I'm sorry.
It is
I'm
literally-
sorry. I'm gonna
It's like,
shut
oh,
up.
okay. We're not dating
I am
communists anymore.
cringe, but I am free.
So true. So basically warning signs. So if someone or like something does or says certain things, then you know that you should probably get out of there and
Yes.
don't have anything to do with them. Ever.
Yes. It's a no. Pray for
Exactly.
them
Yeah, probably.
or it. Okay. What do you want to
Cool.
start with?
I mean, we can start with relationships.
Okay, I have a lot.
Me too.
Yes.
And we must also remember to look at the Instagram things.
Yes, we got some nice answers.
Yes. Should we start with
Okay.
the Instagram and then move on to ours?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first response, and I think this is obviously to do with relationships. They said, do you think not sharing your body count with your partner is a red flag? Asking for a friend. What do you think?
If you're talking about body count as the amount of people you've murdered, then
You should go to jail, but keep
yes.
silence. Like,
I
keep that quiet.
I don't think it's a red flag if you're not sharing, but it's a red flag if you ask the person and they just, for some reason, will not answer or will get super defensive.
Yeah.
Then
I also think so.
I would be like, okay, something's up, and it's like
Yeah.
realistically, okay, if this person asks me this on the first date, I'm gonna
Like,
be
you don't know me.
then that's a red flag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think in relationships, like sooner or later, you're going to have to, I don't always say, this is a recent thing that I've started saying. when you get into a relationship, you don't check your bags at the door. Like you bring all your baggage in and you unpack it one thing at a time. And so
It's really
like,
fun.
is it even so fun? Is it even a real relationship if like there's certain things that are just like completely off limits?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I don't think it's bad if they've just never brought it up because it's their right, honestly, and what they've done in past relationships or with other people is kind of their business.
yeah,
But
it's not something I like walk into a relationship. I'm like, I can't wait to tell you about everything I've ever done.
yeah, like it's their business. But if you ask and they get like angry or defensive or whatever, then I would just be cautious. But obviously people also have trauma and
Exactly.
like might not feel comfortable sharing soon into a relationship. So just have patience, but obviously like keep an eye out, I think. Yeah, so it all depends on how they go about it, in my opinion.
Yes. Then we got a response saying Danielle Murray is
Oof.
a red flag.
I mean, I
And
agree, obviously.
I agree. I have nothing else to say about that.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, she's so pretentious and gross. Okay, anyway. The next one, not liking Taylor Swift. Amen.
Amen. Run.
Run.
There's a song called Run by Taylor Swift.
Actually, I did actually write this in my red flags, but it was a joke. But.
Yes.
And this usually goes for guys more than girls, but obviously everyone can be like this. If they
I was like this,
hate,
so-
if they hate Taylor Swift and are like misogynistic towards her, get out of there. Like they're not a good person. You're not a good person. And it doesn't matter if you don't like Taylor Swift.
You don't have to like her music.
Yeah.
I'm a Swiftie now, but I still don't like all her music.
No, me neither. But when she has so many songs, there's bound to be some that we don't like, you know.
Exactly.
But it's
But
also
if they are rude. Very rude.
it's often tied like a hatred or a complete dislike of Taylor Swift is often tied to misogyny. So I'm like,
Yes,
just
a
watch
woman
out.
who's dated all of these men.
Exactly.
So dumb. Okay. Then not being able to admit to mistakes. Freaking men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like you just can't be with someone who thinks that they're always right and perfect because...
No, exactly. I mean, like if
Yeah.
you're Devon, then you are dating someone who is right and perfect. Like if you're Devon.
Exactly.
But for everyone else, like, yikes.
Yeah, I feel the same. This next one is interesting. You can read this one.
Liking Jordan Peterson or Elon Musk. I do agree with the Elon Musk part.
Yeah, so this is what I was going to say.
I literally can't stand Elon Musk.
But can I please tell you something interesting? I don't know if I'm allowed to share this. It's not like a secret. But did you know that my boss's wife went to Matric Dance with Elon Musk?
Yes, you did tell me that.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I can't share the intimate details, but apparently he wasn't like the most wonderful person.
Okay, now listen. When I
I
said I
have no
can't stand him, I don't mean that I hate him or anything.
Or he's a bad
I just-
person. We've never met him.
Yeah, I mean, like some of the things he does, I do question if he's a good person. But
Rightfully so.
the thing is that, and this is, I mean, girls obviously can like him too, but it's especially guys. They'll have like, I'm going to say crushes. They like legit have crushes on
Yes.
Elon Musk. And that is
A lot
weird
of
to
guys have weird crushes or like some weird sort of worship of like
me.
billionaires.
Yeah.
Like Warren Buffett is a really good like financial mind, but like he's not God.
No. But like, and as soon as you criticize Elon Musk, or I mean, like I did this on purpose because it's funny to see men react. As soon as you criticize him, then they're like, no, but he's done this, and he's like, and it's like, just relax. He's just a
Yeah.
man. He doesn't
is
actually
just
care
a
about
man.
you. And Jordan Peterson, I don't know too much about him. I've seen
I also
Some-
don't.
some videos of him on TikTok, and I've heard him say some like dodgy and misogynistic things. But like I can't really comment too much on him as a person because I just stay away from his videos, to be honest.
Yeah. So for me, I've seen some stuff that was like also dodge, but I've also seen some stuff that I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I've also heard him.
And, like-
I've also heard him say some things that are like not terrible.
And his book is a 12 Rules for Life or something. When I worked in a bookstore, I sold so many copies, and like the reviews were like raving. Like I thought about reading it as well. So yeah, because I don't know enough about him, I really can't have an opinion.
Yeah.
So,
But in general,
Sorry,
if any person idolizes those people, I'm like, not for me. You can agree with things that they say, but I don't really want any people who idolize people. You know what I'm saying? Except for Taylor Swift, obviously.
Devin can be in love with her. It's fine.
I keyed.
Okay,
All right.
should we get on to our personal ones?
Yeah. Okay, you can go first.
All right. Number 1. And these might seem obvious, but for...
Apparently they're not.
Love is, and like in love as in fake love, lust, obsession is blind. So
There's a quote,
take
and
a
I think it's from the
moment to
show.
review.
I think it's from the show BoJack Horseman, and I haven't watched it, but I've seen it going
Yes.
around. It
I've
said
heard.
when you look at the world through rose tinted glasses, then all of the red flags just look like flags.
Damn.
Yeah.
I learnt in hermeneutics that we do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yes. And then you see that the world's a terrible place, and then it all makes sense. Okay, so my first one is lying.
Okay, yeah, duh.
Like, yes, but it's like even a white lie. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like people don't have to lie about big things, but when people start to lie about like stupid little things, I'm like, that makes me question what, I don't know, it immediately puts me on edge, and I feel like for good reason. Like my boyfriend, I've never said that on this podcast before. So weird. So the other day,
your bestie.
My bestie, he stayed with his brother, and he was like, he messaged me and he's like, hey, because he was going to call me. He's like, I can't call right now. My brother's sleeping and we're in the same room. I was like, no, all good. And then later that night, he was like, no, my brother wakes up at 5 to shower. And I was like, I'm like, every morning. He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm about to get angry. So then I was like, I didn't even hold back. I was like, okay, tell me, how did your brother get up at 5? When you messaged me at 7, you told me your brother was sleeping. He's like, no, I swear to you, both are true. He's like, he woke up at 5, took a shower, and then went back to sleep. So not a red flag, but he's on thin ice.
That's a fun story. Thank you for sharing.
I'm so sorry. I just thought it was very interesting.
It is funny.
Yeah. So lying, don't lie.
Yes. Yeah. And if you catch someone multiple times, if you catch someone multiple times in a lie, like don't think the whole time, oh, they're going to change. They're not.
Or they'll tell me the truth.
Yeah, they won't. They really won't. Okay. Then first one I have is quote unquote nice guys. If you are seeing someone or dating someone or interested in someone who is a self-proclaimed nice guy, get out.
Like, oh, I'm
get
the
out
nice
immediately.
guy. I'm the nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm the protagonist. I'm the hero of the story.
Hero. Because being nice isn't a personality trait. You can't just be a nice person. And often they are just not nice. And they are only nice to manipulate girls and women into sleeping with them. So think about that and be careful.
Yes. We did an episode called Pursuing
Panty liners.
Some panty liners and partnerships or something. It's a
like
good
that.
episode. We spoke more about this. Go listen to it.
Go listen.
Okay. Then my next one is aggressive behavior in any form.
I also had that one. Yeah.
In any form. Like there's this weird, okay, I speak as a girl, like this is a red flag in a guy, just specifically because I think like even if it's like for your honor or like some guy is like hitting on you whatever and your boyfriend gets like hectically angry, for me I'm still like okay,
no,
you can
thank
be
you.
annoyed and not be okay with it, but like if you want to like start a fist fight and like end up in jail, that's like
please
a red
don't.
flag. And
I can't do
also
it.
so I hate swearing just in general, but I get that it's like part of people's normal vocab, so I don't necessarily think like in certain relationships swearing is like the be all and end all. But if someone swears at you, for me that's a no. Because that is immediately disrespect. Like if someone as a woman calls you a bitch, I'm sorry, peace out.
No, I completely agree.
Even in the heat of a moment. And if a woman like starts attacking you and telling you that you're a fancy, all the fun words, like I'm sorry.
A fancy.
Oh my gosh. Tell her don't swear.
Christian
I don't even know
insults. You're so fancy. Yeah, I completely agree. And like with swearing, obviously it's not always a red flag, but it's just how it's used. And I think like honestly it goes with like just the tone of voice in general. Like if someone's like raising their voice at you all the time, be it a guy or a girl, like get out of
Don't
there,
shout
because
at
that's not a good
me.
environment. Yeah.
That's some people think it's normal. Like you
No.
grow up with parents who shout at each other and you think it's okay. It's not okay.
No, you got to break the cycle, to be honest.
Amen.
Okay. My next one is mommy's boys. And I don't mean this in a way like, oh, if a boy is close with his mother, get out of there.
No,
But
'cause
a
that's kind of
boy,
cute.
yeah, a mommy's boy like is a very distinct thing. And it's when like a mother is like obsessed with her son, like cannot let any other woman have him.
Scary.
If you see that kind of relationship with, let's say, someone you're interested in and their mother, like just get out of there as soon as you can, because you will never be accepted into that family. And like the husband or like your boyfriend or whatever will probably always take his mother's side over
So
your
that's the
side.
thing. It's like if your boyfriend has like a possessive mother, you can't do anything about the mother. But if it's a guy who like genuinely
follows
like,
his mother's rules and
yeah,
no, get out of there. Get out of there.
yeah.
Anyway, that's my opinion.
Yes, my way or no way. So I've seen this actually just from personal experience. I've seen this more in women. Like I've seen actually
Yeah,
many
definitely.
men that just go along with whatever the woman says.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yes, which in my case, like
Dead.
100%, like it will be my way, but like not for anyone else.
Red flag.
So like someone who's just like unwilling to compromise at all.
Yeah.
And I think you see this early on in the relationship, even in the little things. It's like, no, sorry, I'm deciding what to watch every time we watch a movie.
Yeah.
Like, listen, guys, I've had to endure some terrible, terrible songs in the name of love. So, like, if the person can't compromise even on the little things like what to eat, like, then I'm sorry.
Get out. Yeah, get out of there.
Or they're like unwilling to accept that you could have a different opinion, because I think there's certain like fundamentals that you have to agree on in a relationship. But if someone's not even willing to like hear another opinion,
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
And
very
in a
scary.
relationship, I also wrote down like word compromise. But in a relationship, compromise is everything. And if you want like a long lasting, healthy relationship, you need to learn how to compromise. And like it might even be things that you like don't really want to compromise on. But if the other person like, and obviously there's some things that you shouldn't compromise on, like your boundaries or your
100%.
faith or like your beliefs.
100%.
But just in terms of like things that actually have like a lot to do with the relationship, if you know what I mean. So for example, if you say to your significant other, like, oh, I'm not comfortable that you go out with that girl alone or that guy alone, and they like won't compromise on it, or like they won't like try to find a way, not like to make you happy, but just like to set those
Yes.
healthy boundaries,
Yes.
then like that should be a red flag to you.
It is because I think
yeah.
a lot of people like, it's like, oh, but that's like a jealousy and that's your issue. And 100% like if you have a significant other who's like so insecure that like you can't look at another person,
There's a
then
difference.
that's
there's a
scary.
difference.
But like you
Yeah.
have to acknowledge the emotions of the other person and figure out how
exactly.
can we best like
Yeah, and like
navigate.
be willing to talk about it as well.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Like I want to clarify that you don't necessarily need to compromise on something immediately. Like you can
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
just chat about it, see like, oh, this is how I'm feeling, how you're feeling, and then go from there. But you do have to
agree.
take the other person into consideration. And if you're
Yes,
not ready to
please.
do that, then don't get into a relationship, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Okay. Then it's you.
Okay. So if a person tells you that God told them that you will be their wife or their husband, that's a red flag. Especially if you're still in like the early dating or like seeing each other phase.
So I think like I was told once on a second date, like I think you're the person I'm gonna marry, and like it terrified me. And I went and I phoned a friend. I was like, I can't. And she said to me, her now husband said the same thing to her, and it terrified her. But there's a difference between thinking you can marry someone versus I'm going to pursue this person because I saw you and this voice from heaven came and said, I'm going to marry you. And I tell you why, there have been people who've said this to married people. Like there's some scary stuff.
No, but it's, to be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with like seeing someone and thinking, yeah, I could marry that person.
Which
but,
is
okay,
like
first of all,
the point of
don't
dating.
say it like
that's
don't
where
say it
you kinda get
immediately.
to.
I think like don't say it immediately, and especially like if you say like, oh, God told me, because it's such a form of manipulation. Because who are you to question what God wants?
Yeah,
and
it's like,
if
this must be what God wants. Now I have to date this person.
Exactly, but the thing is, like, if God told them, why wouldn't he tell you as well?
He will tell you.
And if you're not getting that, then like, no, get out. But I think more often than not, it's a manipulation tactic. So you just got to be careful with those kinds of things.
I agree. Okay, then mine is lacks depth, because I think it's very nice to be around with to be in a relationship with a jokester or someone who makes you laugh and it's always light and it's fun and I hope that it's cool. Fun. But if they can't have serious conversations and you struggle to get them to have serious conversations, especially some people just aren't in touch with their emotions, and to an extent that's okay. But if there are serious things that need to be discussed, if a person is not willing or physically can't open up or think about things other than the soccer game or the makeup brand, then I would worry. That was very stereotypical, but
yeah, it was. Yeah, no, I completely agree. So the next one I have is, and this was kind of a two-part thing, but it's someone who tries to change you all the time. So if someone is not happy with how you are, let's say it can be the way you dress, the way you speak, the things you believe in, etc., and they always try to change you, and this obviously can go for guys and girls, then that should be an immediate red flag. But at the same time, you shouldn't go into a relationship wanting to change someone.
Exactly.
If you see someone and you think oh, I could really see myself with them, if only
don't date the potential of someone.
Exactly. You date the person as they are immediately. So if you have said to yourself, I don't want to date a non-Christian, or I don't want to date someone who smokes or someone who drinks a lot, don't go for someone who does those things then and think that you can change them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some of us have a fixer-upper complex, and it's very dangerous.
Yeah, so just be careful of that.
Yes.
Okay, my next one is kind of similar to the God told me that I'm going to marry you. Kind of similar, but it's love bombing. So I'll just read a definition.
I've never heard this term before.
Yeah. So love bombing is the practice of showing a person excessive affection and attention as a way of manipulating them in a relationship. It typically takes the form of showering a person with a combination of seemingly genuine expressions of love or attention, such as excessive praise, gifts, and grand gestures. So basically, when you get into a relationship or you're starting to see someone and this person is literally just giving you everything, all the affection, all the gifts, all the everything, it can be genuine, but it can also be a form of manipulation. And the way you can tell it, obviously, is just how long it goes on for. Once you get into that relationship, does it stop or does it continue? Yeah. And obviously, if it continues, it can still be manipulating you to stay in an abusive relationship, for example. But just be careful. If someone is literally giving you everything and all the attention, just keep guard your heart in a good way, if you know what I mean.
Guard your heart. Okay, interesting. I didn't think about that at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But obviously, don't go for someone who doesn't pay attention to you either.
No, please. Okay, constant arguing.
Yes.
So I've seen people get in a relationship and 2 weeks in, they just start arguing. I'm like, how do you argue this much? And it's
you're supposed to be in the honeymoon phase still.
Yeah, okay, I don't believe in honeymoon phases given
no, me neither.
My life, but I hear it's a thing for people. Must be nice. But I don't know. I think if you're having a major argument with someone, once or twice a week, let me tell you, later on in life when the going gets tougher, or like if let's just say you start having kids, like, do you think that the arguments are magically going to go away? Some people think that like a wedding ring fixes things, and that's stress.
No, or a baby. Please don't have a baby to fix things. Oh my word, that is a person. That is a human.
So I'm like, think about it, guys. If you're in a relationship right now and you're like, wow, we argue all the time. Like, if you love the person, it doesn't matter how much you love the person. Like, it's not healthy. And it doesn't make you or the other person a bad person. Maybe it's just you're not in the space to be in that relationship right now. And that's okay.
Yeah. And like a lot of people think like, oh, it adds fire to the relationship and like all those kinds of things. But
BS.
it's not good. You're not going to feel that way down the line. Down the line.
A lot of people, like the amount of sex scenes I've seen in movies that happen right after an argument.
Yeah.
I promise you, once you
That's
wake up the next morning, it's still an issue. Yeah, very scary.
So I also had like argues all the time, but also never argues with you is also a red flag.
Yes.
If like they just go along with everything that you say, like first of all, like they obviously don't have any opinions, which is kind of boring. And like they don't have like a backbone, which is kind of concerning to me. Like you want someone who knows what they stand for. You want someone like, if they don't agree with you, who will say that, you know? So whenever I see couples who never fight, I'm like, something is not.
Off.
And like, and like argue, not necessarily like fight. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, that's scary. No, I was actually listening to a podcast, and this girl said like in her first year of marriage, they barely had conflict, but it was more like she had this fear from childhood already that if she said how she felt, the person was going to leave her. Yeah. And so like all of these red flags, it's not things that like are irreparable, and it's not to say that Danielle and I are perfect at all, or that our significant others are, but it's just more like it might not be the person for you, or it might not be the person right now, and like getting out is a better option.
Like just be aware of the things.
Yeah. Okay, then my next one is someone who keeps you from your friends.
Yes.
Like if it's someone who for some reason doesn't want to hang out with your friends, or is not okay with you spending time with your friends, or like just needs all of you all the time, that's a big red flag, because life is not meant to be lived with one person on an island. Sometimes that sounds nice for like a month, but like after that.
But ultimately, you know, when you get into a relationship and this person is like really possessive of you, it can seem like, you know, when you get into a new relationship, a lot of people like are just very much centered around this new person in their lives, and it's like it's normal. Yeah, and like it does happen. Like you want to get to know each other, like you're kind of obsessed with them in the beginning, I guess. But if it carries on, like just be aware. And if like they don't want you to see your friends, that's a big red flag, because you know the chances are, to be honest, that relationship probably won't work out, especially if you're young. And like if you have isolated yourself from all your friends, like if that person leaves you, then what are you going to do? Like your friends should always be around you, like they're your support system.
And like research will show that like in abusive relationships, especially a dynamic between a man abusing a woman, is the woman has just been like cornered so much that she actually has no one to turn to, and begins to like see her abuser as like the only person that will ever love her, so it is very scary if like already like right off the bat this person is trying to isolate you like that. For me is very scary.
So the next one I have is kind of similar, but it's if they're wanting to be in constant contact with you all day, every single day, that's a red flag, because they're not recognizing that you are entitled to your own time. They think that if they're in a relationship with you, that they are entitled to you all the time. And like that's just simply not true. You're allowed to have your space. It's healthy to have your space in a relationship, in fact.
Yes.
And it's just another controlling mechanism, really. And especially if they're like, oh, well, like, what are you doing right now? What are you doing right now? And like they won't let you just like be, and then you can catch up later. You know?
Yeah. I think for me, and like I'll just share from like personal experience, is it's nice to like know what the other person is doing, especially now me being in a long distance relationship. Like that communication is really important for me. But like it says a lot about you and about the way you feel about the other person if you feel insecure or like deeply anxious if you don't know what the other person is doing.
Yeah.
Like then
you need to look at yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will say in my previous relationship, and I'll be the first to admit it, I was that. I needed to know everything my ex was doing. Not because I didn't trust him, but it was like he was like everything in a sense at a stage.
Yeah.
And like that is very, very dangerous and very, very exhausting. And it was a cause of a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a red flag.
You need to be really careful.
I was a red flag. But now I learnt and I'm so awesome. And it like does screw, like it screws with your mind. Like even after like now being in a relationship, but also just in other friendships. Like for a long time I was like, oh, I'm so scared to be like that. So now I'm just going to like hold back and feel like I'm always bugging people.
Yeah.
So it's like
and
a whole
that's
thing
a horrible way to feel.
to work
like
through,
I get the same way. I get the same way.
You never bug me, Danielle.
You never bug me either, so don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay. If all of their exes are crazy, that is a red flag.
Oh my.
Yeah. So
gosh.
and for some reason, it's usually guys who say this about girls, like, oh, like, don't worry about my ex, she was crazy. If he says that about all of his exes, he is the common denominator. Like,
yeah.
something he is, like, I think, in my opinion, that he has probably made them crazy. If all of them are crazy. Like, something's not right there.
I agree. In fact,
but also it shows, like, a disrespect.
Yeah, it's actually quite endearing to me when... Because obviously there's a reason people break up. But I think it's quite endearing if someone is able to speak highly of their ex.
Yeah, I agree.
It just shows, like, this is a person at some point you chose to love or you chose to, you know, attach yourself to. Yeah, so if someone can't, like, speak like any nice words about people they've dated, that's scary.
And, like, obviously people go through trauma with exes and horrible things, and, like, they might not be able to speak highly of them. But just if every single ex this person has had
if there's that one person that, like your ex is, like, not on good terms with, okay. But like you said, if, like, all your ex
something's wrong there and you need to get out. Yeah.
Okay, then my next one is someone who has zero motivation or, like, plans for life. And, like, here's the thing. I have days where I'm like, I want to do nothing. I want to nap for the rest of my life. I joke all the time. I'm like, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I don't even want to have kids. I just want to stay at home. But, like,
a stay-at-home girlfriend.
A stay-at-home girlfriend. Even better. I don't need a ring. I just need to, like, be showered. I'll be showered with gifts and money and attention and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Love bombing.
Love bombing. Bomb me with love. But, like, if someone just has absolutely no drive at all. Like, this is a person who every weekend spends hours on the couch or like their only goal in life is to go out and party till they're 50. Like,
no. You're not going to be happy. I mean, unless you want to be that person too, but just be careful.
Yeah. So, like, if from the get-go, like, someone who's like varsity students, if your significant other is failing classes, not because they're struggling, but because of a complete lack of, like, effort, because varsity is expensive, by the way, then
it is.
That's a no.
Yeah, it's a no from me as well. Like, I don't know. I want some drive. You know, it's about drive. It's about power. We stay hungry, we devour, as Mr. Dwayne The Rock Johnson says. Anyway. Okay. The next one, and this should be very obvious, but gaslighting is a red flag. Gosh. So I'll read a nice definition of gaslighting. So gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that makes you question your beliefs and perception of reality. Yeah. Over time, this type of manipulation can wear down your self-esteem and self-confidence, leaving you dependent on the person gaslighting you. And obviously, like, you think, oh, this is something that takes place over a long period of time. Like, how would I know that the person that I'm dating is a gaslighter? Like, you'll know if you bring something up to them and they're like, no, like, I didn't do that, you're crazy. Like, no, you're just making things up.
I think even someone who uses that
careful.
word, like if you've ever been called crazy in a negative context, I actually would walk away or like.
Oh, yeah, me
sue.
too. I would never.
Like someone who
Like, don't
makes
call me
you
crazy.
question, don't call me baby. I don't know. That just came to my mind. She said don't. Okay, I'm done. So I think, and I put it here, is someone who makes you feel crazy or makes you question, like, your sanity. Yeah, it's like if someone recalls an event even in a way that it didn't happen and like makes you believe, like early on already, guys, like please just, because it's so scary, and like the emotional abuse that can develop from there is like scary. Like emotional abuse, guys, can be as hectic as physical abuse, and it starts with a little like no buts, no, like no, that you can't feel that way because that didn't happen.
Exactly. It's a very dangerous road to go down, and if I were you, I would get out of there as soon as possible.
Yes. Okay. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. Your loved ones disapprove. Okay. Now, if there are like two people in your life who for some, I'm sorry, there's a lawnmower outside. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can't
Danielle.
hear.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I can't hear anything.
Okay, cool. If like two people like in your family or friend group take issue with your significant other, that might be more their issue than like your issue. But if like almost every single person in your life that knows you well is telling you this person is not good for you, whether you see it or not, please just like take their opinion in high regard. If this is someone who every other area of your life you like trust, like
why would they try to like break your relationship?
Yeah.
Like, why would they try to hurt you, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, obviously it depends on the people who are saying it. Like if someone who you don't know really well comes up to you and says, oh, like this person, like, oh, just be careful of this in the relationship, or be careful of this with that person, I'd be like, like I'll think about it, but you don't really know me and you don't really know my partner. But yeah, like you said, if so many people, like your close friends or family, are saying something's not right, like just think about it.
Yes.
And like seriously consider what they're saying.
Yeah.
And like they know you. Sometimes you need an outside perspective.
For real. Love is blind.
Exactly. Okay. The next one, and this is for you ladies. If your boyfriends say, you're not like other girls, like that's a red flag to me, because usually what he means is like, oh, you're not like stereotypically feminine and like girly and all that.
Yes.
And like there's a difference between saying like, oh, you're like different to every person I've ever met, and like that's why I really like you, you know, you're so unique.
Yes.
But
and
if
chances
he's
are like he's dating you because of the fact that you're the first person he's met that like he clicks with on levels, you know.
But if he's like putting you against every single other girl, I don't know, like something tells me that he doesn't respect women. Just something, and it's just like a certain way of it being said, and like it like denotes a certain meaning. So
I agree.
For me, it's red flag.
Even the other way, if like you are so hectic on like, no, but I'm not like other girls.
Yeah.
Then like,
there's nothing wrong with other girls.
Yes. I want to be like other girls.
Exactly.
Mulan for the win. Okay. Then dependency.
Yeah.
So if someone at any point in your relationship, you start to notice that this person cannot live without you, like to a hectic extent, like they need your opinion, they can't make decisions without you. They need you if they are like in emotional distress and they need you yesterday, fine. But if they need you yesterday every day, that's an issue, because
something's wrong.
Yeah, it's just like your mental health. You're never ever going to get to a space of emotional stability if it's tied to another person. So as hard as it can be, like I think, especially for empaths, like they want to be there, especially if it's someone you love, but you're actually harming them and yourself in the long run if you let that continue. So I feel like that's a hard tie to break, but like
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think my next one, and I think my last one, because I've said, oh wait, no, I've got two more.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is if they support known abusers. So if this person is, like, for example, still listening to Chris Brown's music, like, I don't know, something about that just doesn't seem good to me. Like when it was literally proven that he beats up Rihanna, probably other exes as well. Yeah, Rihanna. Yeah, I don't know. It just shows that like they don't really respect victims of abuse and are willing to support abusers if it benefits them. And
Interesting.
maybe,
Yeah. I mean,
so just
I'm
think
not
about
gonna
that.
lie. Thank goodness, my current boyfriend. I say current because maybe I'll get tired after this fact. But
Just say boyfriend.
there's a Kanye song he likes, and I'm like, red flag. But he doesn't like worship the ground Kanye West walks on. So.
Yeah.
Then someone who holds a lot of grudges or talks badly about lots of people. So if your boyfriend or girlfriend just cannot let go of like past transgressors or whatever, like it's some people struggle, you know. I'm very much a promoter of forgiveness just because Jesus forgave me for all my crap.
Yeah. And it'll make you feel better as well if you forgive.
Exactly. But it's like someone who has multiple grudges with people.
Yeah, it's weird.
They are going to hold things against you. Like they're going to, in a year's time, they're still going to be bringing up things in arguments that you did in the first month of dating. So, yeah, no.
Yeah. And like they have to be such a bitter person to do that.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to change. So,
yeah.
Okay, my last one is just inconsistency. So if they say something and then do another thing, if their actions don't match their words, that's a very big red flag to me, especially if it happens like often.
Yes.
And
People
then
make
also
mistakes, but like...
Oh, for sure.
If it's a continuous thing.
Yeah. And this is like with a lot of things in this list. Like if it happens like once off, it's like, okay, we can talk about it. But if it happens all the time, no thank you.
Yeah.
And then also like if they shame you for like what you've done in past relationships or like past people that you've like I don't know, like hooked up with or slept with or whatever, but then like they've done the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
Like
that's just inconsistent, and like they don't want to admit that they've also done things. That's cool.
I agree.
That's all my ones for romantic relationships.
Okay. And then the last one is someone specifically who pressures you physically.
Oh yeah.
In any sense.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, like someone's like, maybe we should try this, and you're not necessarily comfortable, but it's like you want to appease the person, and it's like, okay, but let me tell you, that happens once in a small thing, and
it'll happen again over and over.
Yes. So honestly, like if someone's like, I understand that you're not comfortable with this, but like actually it's gonna be really nice and we're gonna do it anyway, like I'm sorry. Like even in the smallest things, like if you've decided that like you're not gonna have sex till marriage, but they're like, but please, like
no, but we're supposed to. Like how are you supposed to buy a car if you haven't tested it yet?
Yes.
Gross.
Like so if someone pressures you physically, no thanks.
Yeah. Completely agree. All right, moving on to friendships. So now obviously a lot of things in romantic relationships I think can apply to friendships as well. You know, like lying, gaslighting, etc.
Yes.
But so just keep that in mind.
Yes, these are things that friendships are a little bit different. Like for example, like if my friend became an addict, like I wouldn't like stop being their friend because it affects me differently, and as like an outsider it's a little bit easier to like offer support than like if you are in the trenches with someone. So friendships are a bit different, but there are a lot of things like you said that are just not okay in romantic and platonic relationships.
Exactly. Okay, so for me the first thing with a friendship is if they always want you to drop everything for them, but they won't do the same thing for you. That's a red flag. So if they say like, oh, let's like just maybe on a small scale, like, oh, let's go shopping. Like, I'm going here. Like, please come with me. Like, and you say, no, but I have something on. And they're like, no, but you have to come. But then when you're in need or if you want to do something, they're like not willing to do the same thing for you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would.
I agree.
I'd be aware.
I agree. I'll come visit you, Danielle.
I'll come
You
visit
visit
you too.
me? Yes. We'll visit each other.
Yes.
Okay. Then jealousy / someone who can't be happy for you.
I said the same thing.
Oh. Yeah. So like I've seen this in like, you see it actually like from young already, like friends who are competitive, whether it be in academics or sports, and it's like, okay, you came first in the grade, and it's like, ugh, like congrats.
You feel,
or like if someone makes a comment of like, ugh, but you're just smart, like it's easy for you, you know. And if like, especially
definitely.
like, I think it can be hard, especially just for girls, like just the kind of culture we live in where like your worth is in a relationship. Like 100%. If you can't be happy for like a friend getting engaged or like getting married and you're still single, like that's their issue, and like that is going to negatively, like, you don't need people who can't celebrate like your achievements and stuff. Like that's such a special part about friendship, is having people encourage you and like be proud of you.
Exactly. And like you want to be in a friendship like where you are lifting each other up. And I think also, like you were saying, the culture that we're in, like not only does it put like so much worth in relationships, but it also pits women against each other all the time. And like you see often like with girl friends, they are like there's always like this unspoken competition between them. And I think it takes a lot just to, you know, break out from that. Cool. So my turn.
Yes.
Okay. If they always like judge your decisions and act like holier than thou kind of vibes, that's a red flag, because they're not gonna like help you or anything if you're in like a time of need. They're gonna judge you for your decisions, and like no one wants that.
No. And I think like I've been guilty of this in certain seasons of my life when
everyone has been guilty of this, to be honest.
Yes. But if it's just a constant thing where it's like you even feel bad to like tell a friend like, shoot, I messed up or I did this, because like they're gonna judge you, then like that's not a friend, you know. Like you do need friends who can tell you straight, like, hello, don't be an idiot. But like if that's all they ever say to you, then it's not a friend.
Exactly. And at the same time, like if someone is literally always supporting all of your decisions, even if they are like, even if you know that they're bad and they're like, you go girl, get it.
Yes.
Like that's not a real friend.
No.
Like there's got to be a good balance between like people saying like, oh, I support your decisions and like I support you like through everything, but at the same time, like that wasn't a good decision that you made. Like your friends should be willing to say that to you.
Yeah. I was once told, like when I was deeply distraught and in like the midst of a breakup and so emotionally unstable, that I should just enter into a slut phase and it'll fix everything. They said it's time for you to just get into your slut phase, and I was like,
maybe not. That's
that's
not what I want.
That literally
that's so not you.
wreck me more emotion. It's like more baggage and difficulty that I have to carry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Cool. It's your turn.
Yes.
Or my turn. You go.
Yes. So this is similar to you saying like someone who like needs you but then won't do the reverse, but it's a little different. It's just someone that always needs you. Like I've always said, like I can't do high maintenance friendships. Like guys,
me neither.
I find WhatsApp very overwhelming. Like, and someone who like questions like me as a friend because I didn't respond to them within an hour. Like,
exactly.
I just personally think like that's a little bit of a red flag. It's just someone who
I completely agree.
always needs you. Just because it's not realistic,
It's not realistic.
and it's exhausting.
Yeah, and like they're not entitled to your time 24/7, and you're not a bad friend if you need to take time away from WhatsApp, for example. Like,
Yep.
WhatsApp and like
Even
this
in romantic
constant communication.
relationships.
Exactly, it's so unnatural to
Yeah.
constantly be available to other people. Like this
Yeah.
would never have happened before cell phones. Like
Yeah.
it's just simply not a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, my next one is if your friend group constantly gangs up against you. That's a red flag. And like you might think, oh, like it's just a joke, like they're just having a laugh. Like,
But if
no.
you're always the butt of the joke.
Exactly, like that's a
Yeah.
red flag. If like some friendships, like there's a constant like banter and just teasing,
Yes.
which is fine.
Danielle's
But if
mean to
you-
me, guys.
And you're
You're-
mean to me back.
Yeah, whatever. Yesterday, what did I say? I said something about your punching your face, but I was
Yeah, you
joking.
did. You said I'd be lucky if
Yes.
you punched my face.
So I said, you asked me, when can I visit you, Zara? And I told you, and you're like, maybe I will if you're lucky. So then I said, maybe I'll punch your face if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And
Red
then
flag.
and then you said not nice, and then you sent me a bunch of articles about Russia and Ukraine. And that's okay.
That's balance.
Balance.
So yeah, it's like, it's not funny if people are always making fun of you. They don't like you, probably. They don't appreciate you. So just get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
honestly,
also if you're being left out all the time.
honestly, quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Like, for real. And you don't have to have a friend group, by the way. Like, you don't have
you
to have a
don't.
group of friends. Like, you can have
Yeah.
friends in different spaces and places. Okay, my next one is a possessive friend. A friend that doesn't let you
Yes.
have other friends.
Yes.
It's like, you are my best friend. How
yeah,
dare
you're not allowed to be
you-
with other people.
How dare you go for coffee with this other person? And like, I've seen it, like it's hectic. That's like a different kind of jealousy. But it's like, realistically, it's okay to have multiple friends for
Yeah,
multiple
you should.
things. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. And like your one friend can't be everything for you, Like I think you've said it before that you're going to have friends for different things. Like
Yeah.
for example, like you might talk to me about something but you wouldn't talk to like another friend about it, and then like vice
Yeah.
versa. But obviously, Zara, you have to share everything with me at all times.
I mean, I already do. Like, the
Yeah.
in-depth issues of my menstrual cycle.
Strikel. Yes,
Yeah.
I
So,
do. But I also like that stuff.
This is
I
true.
like to know about the things.
Yes.
Yeah, and then if they always gossip to you about your other friends
I
or
have that
their
next
other
on my
friends,
list.
yeah.
If they're talking
If they-
about other people, they're talking about you.
they're talking about you too, so watch
And it's
out
just,
for that.
you don't want to be friends with someone who thinks negatively of other people. Like, gossip
Exactly.
is just not nice. Like, it's not nice to be in an environment where all you're ever hearing is someone talking about other people.
Exactly.
It's so ugly. It's not
I
the
completely
way.
agree, and they are talking about you as well. Like,
Yeah.
there's literally no way that you're the one person they don't gossip about.
Yeah. Or
don't
like
know.
someone who just tells you everyone else's secrets, but like to the point where
Yeah.
it's like,
It's
I
weird.
really
Like, I
should
don't need
not
to know
know
this.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, listen, you and I are both guilty of that. I want to know what's going on.
Yes.
But like, if it's an extent, if you told me like something hectically like personal about
Inappropriate.
Devin,
Yeah.
like,
I wouldn't. It's
no,
inappropriate.
Exactly. So, yeah. Then the person who always has to upscale you.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, my boyfriend did this for me. Oh, but
my
my
boyfriend.
boyfriend did this. Or it's like,
Flip.
even like, it's like I'm going through a really tough time, but I went through this other thing and it was so much more difficult.
Literally.
Like,
That's got a specific name. It's like the struggle Olympics. If they
struggle
always
Olympics.
yeah, if they're always playing the struggle Olympics with you, and like you're
I
going through a
love
tough
that
time, you're like,
term.
yeah, well, when long ago I had this thing that happened, and they're like, no, I'm just saying it so that I understand where you're coming from. But it's like sometimes you just need to be there
Yeah.
for your friend. Like you don't
Yeah.
need to try and like one up them or like share
Yeah.
your experiences all the time. Like there's a
Yes.
time and a place for that.
Yes, I agree. Okay.
Yeah. Trying to think. Another one that I had is just if they are also just unwilling to compromise. They always want their way, never want to change. Like whatever they say goes.
Yeah.
And like especially like if you're scared to stand up to them, say like, oh, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's a red flag to me. You want to be able to have like an open communication with your friends.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
Then my next one is friends who never ask how you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I think like our biggest issue in friendships, and we want to do like a whole episode on friendships, but you can't expect a friend to love the same way you do because they're a different person. But if all your friendship is like them asking or giving advice, like asking for advice or like venting to you, then it's not a friend. Like you're not their friend, you're their counselor. Because a friendship is a two-way relationship. It goes both ways. So if they never ever ask you how you are, then don't like cut the person out, but also just be aware and don't get too invested.
Yeah. I think at the same time, another red flag for me is if they're constantly like venting to you and like trauma dumping on you without asking first. Yeah. Because like, for example, you'll say to me like, oh, can I vent? Or like you'll send a voice note and you'll be like, just listen when you can. Yeah. And like if I like have something to say to you, I'd be like, you know, like if I want to vent or whatever, like I know there's a time and a place for that. And like, if they like don't ask if they can first, or they just like share their horrible traumas to you without like preparing you. Yeah. I don't know. And they do that all the time. Like, I don't know. I would just be careful.
Yeah. And it's like help people and be there for people, but like refer them to like a therapist.
Yeah. I was like,
that sounded really mean, but like.
Yeah. No, but it's true though. You can't be everything for everyone. Yeah. Yeah. I don't have anything new to say, so if you do, you can go on ahead.
I have 4 things still.
Okay.
Guys, I'm a walking red flag. Don't worry. Okay. I posted
a picture. I
was
actually listing everything about herself.
Yes. I posted a picture with, and I love this. I love this saying, just because we can be like this. So I posted a picture with the bestie of mine with the caption, "We like to see how red the flags can get." Yes. I promise we are very bestie-ish.
Healthy.
We are, but like, it's true. Like,
it's funny.
We get ourselves in these dodgy situations. Yeah. Sometimes because we just don't respect or we think we don't deserve anything more than that. But we
accept the love we think we deserve. Oh, that's from Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yes. Same director as Dear Evan Hansen. Can't remember his name. Sorry, guy. Okay, when you can't be yourself.
Yes.
So, like, even, like, it's like we have this innate desire to fit in, but if, like, you genuinely, like, change certain things about yourself, or, like, let's just say, I'm seeing a certain friend, so I have to dress a certain way. Like,
or like speak a certain way.
Yes, or it's like I go
a certain
out.
way.
Yes, it's like I go out and I don't really want to take 3 shots, but like if I don't, then like I'm
like they'll judge
party
you
pooper. Yes,
they'll be exiled.
Yes. So yeah, if you can't be yourself, then it's not worth it.
I agree. We decided we're going to actually split our red flags into 2 episodes because obviously this is already extremely long.
Yes.
But we hope you enjoyed.
Life has too many red flags, honestly.
Yeah.
We're the green.
I mean,
we're the green flag.
Yeah. Like, I really do feel like maybe like we're the red flags for having so many red flags.
I agree.
But you should know what you want. You should know what you want.
Amen. Mm-hmm. And if they don't listen to you in other words.
Red flag.
Yep.
Okay. If they ever say anything bad about us.
I agree. Yeah. Okay, guys. Cool. Thank you so much for joining us. This is such a fun episode.
It was really fun.
Yes.
I could talk about this for ages.
It's so sad. But if you know what you don't want or won't accept, then when the right thing comes along, it'll be a breath of fresh air.
Exactly. It'll be so nice.
Yes.
So good.
So nice.
Cool.
Okay, guys, please follow us on Instagram at _podcast. Yes.
And subscribe on YouTube.
Yes. All the things. Okay, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.